Fermented food for chicken. It's been a few days for me and I would not look back, although I gotta say it's a bit time consuming and you need some gear. My girlfriend was not too happy with me using her spoons in the kitchen, so I went to the Dollarama, got myself a nice sturdy metal one, because you need to mix your fermented food 3 times a day, 2 or 3 times a day. So this is a batch here that I made. This is day 4 for this batch. So I'm taking it off the bucket simply because I want to put it in the fridge. I didn't gauge my things really well. I'm just starting with that. And please, if anybody noticed that I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. But yeah, what I did, I read a few books, I went on a couple of websites. So this has been fermenting for 4 days, and I want to make sure it doesn't, I made too much basically. I want to make sure that it doesn't go bad, that there's no mildew. So I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put this in the fridge and feed that to the girls tomorrow. The thing that I'm doing here, this is my chick food. So basically here you have growers mix, a little bit of sunflower seeds and a few, maybe I have a cup of millet. The chicks love it. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get the water, that liquid. There's all kinds of good fermenting bacteria in this liquid, and you want to recuperate that for your next batch. You don't have to, but it will give you a head start. In order to start basically the fermentation faster, we had read online that some people were using a little bit of apple cider vinegar for the first batch, and that's what I did. So I covered my seeds in there with about 1 inch of water, and I put, it was 1/4 cup, so not a lot, of apple cider vinegar. Made sure that there was still some, of course it's the non-pasteurized stuff, not the totally dead vinegar. So I made sure that there was the mother, you know, those nice fermenting bacteria filaments there. So you know, it took, like I said, 4 days. Now I know the SCOVY. It's the second batch that I make actually, and I saw a big difference. The first one did not have some leftover SCOVY or scuvy. It just had the apple cider vinegar. But the second batch fermented much faster. Those little bubbles that you're supposed to see at day 2, they were showing up at the surface of the food. So that means that the chemical reaction was going well and the food was fermenting really well. So anyhow, this is just an idea. 4 buckets. I really suggest 4, because you're going to want to have something to rinse your tools. You don't want it to be too messy. These are also Dollarama strainers, so very easy to get. And the girls love it, the chicks love it. And up so far, I gotta say, very often I'll see my girls after eating that stuff just resting, preening. They're obviously totally full to the point that they don't even want to go forage, which is not normal for my birds. So yeah, fermented food all the way. Let me know if you realize that I do something wrong, but up so far it's going really well. So I'm ready to make another batch of food, and I decided I was going to film it. Something that I forgot to mention: the water you're using absolutely needs to be not chlorinated. So if you have a well, perfect. Here we do have a well, but this is actually rainwater that I collected in a clean bucket, and I'm going to use the rainwater for my fermented food. This is my SCOVY or SCOVY. You can see now it's just a nice liquid full of fermenting bacteria. Again, don't need to do that. The first batch I put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup, and it started my culture. But I really want to keep this beautiful liquid because it's gonna inoculate the new grains really fast. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. So I take a really clean bucket, and what I have here is candies for the chickens. So basically, this is I have Layers crumb in there, which my girls don't care for, but I have a full bag in the shed, so I'm using it. There's also lots of sunflower seeds and a mix of Layers mash and white millet. So just put grain like this at the bottom of my container, and you want to have the liquid covering that by about 1 inch. You'll see my first batch was too liquid, my second batch was too solid. There goes a wild pheasant. more and more I'm noticing the wild pheasants are coming close to my girls around the run. So you put your scovy in like this, and see, for me this is not enough, so I'm going to add water. What I want to do is mix this, and you see about an inch of liquid covering my seeds. So I'm going to add some rainwater in there. I think that's about it. Geez, I saved a lot of scovy this time, so this should go really fast. I will actually make a little follow-up video because the scovy is full of good fermenting bacteria. It should go really fast. So you mix that 2-3 times a day. Don't leave it in the hot temperature, maybe your basement. Right now at this time of year the shed is fine until it starts freezing. I'm sure you don't want it too cold either. It would probably slow down the fermenting process. So the basement is probably, doesn't really smell. It smells a little bit. Actually, I found it smelled like the yeast of beer. It was kind of the smell that I associated it with. Maybe that's just my brain. But anyhow, this is what it looks like, and I'm going to cover that, let it ferment. In 3 days it's going to be ready to feed to the girls. In the case of this one, because of the scovy, I'm sure that in 2 days, at the end of the second day, you could probably feed it to the girls right away. I've tried and they liked it, but 3 days seems to be the magical day, the magical number for a good fermented food. But yeah, it takes some time, and after a good meal of fermented food, the girls and the boy, hey Gino, they seem to be happy. I rarely see my girls actually lounging lounging like that in the morning. I used to never see that. They used to be frantically foraging, either here in the run or outside. But now that I feed this fermented food, it seems like I see a lot of burping, and I see a lot of lounging around, preening after feeding. So they feel totally, I think, contented. It's not food, Mystique. Our little Jersey giant there. I call her the unfriendly giant. Yeah, you had a burp for me, eh? So anyways, yes, the girls, of course, yeah, we have a young rooster here who's starting to mount everything. The probiotics really is why I'm doing it. Yes, I'm saving on food with the fermented food, but it's mostly for their health. I was giving them once in a while some natural unflavored Greek yogurt for probiotics, just once in a while. And when I discovered fermented food, anyways, up so far, maybe somebody will convince me otherwise. Like I said, I'm just a starter and all that, but I can see a difference already after 3 days of feeding it. And my girls, 4 days actually today. It's my beautiful Australorp Oracle. Okay, so this is day number 2, and as you can see, I didn't touch it right now, but you can see some bubbles. You can hear them actually. It's kind of hard on the camera. I don't know if anyways, it sounds a little bit like Rice Krispies. So there's obviously a nice reaction going on in there. And this is the consistency that it has. It's really nice. The smell is also good. It smells like some type of a pickling, I guess. They say a sweet and sour smell. Yeah. It smells like some type of a pickling. So I mix it really well. And tomorrow, or the day after, this is going to be perfect for the girls. And tomorrow I'll show you it's going to be bubbling a lot more. And of course, I can't stress enough to keep your stuff clean, guys. So every time I use it or I mix or I do anything, I rinse. This is my drying bucket, and I have some clean water to rinse my stuff for the next time. So yeah, I guess I went to get more buckets. Now I'm up to 5. I'm using 5. But this one is not really necessary. It's just to dry my stuff. That's it. And this is day number 3, folks. Look at the bubbling in there. That's nice. Bacteria's doing some breakdown for your hands. The smell is beautiful. It smells like I said, a pickling juice, sweet and sour. No foul smell at all. It's almost appetizing. But you can see the bubbling in there. That means I nailed it this time really well. Just gonna take my spoon and do my mixing. And this is day 4. You can see it bubbling really well. So this is the day where I'm feeding it to the girls. The smell, again, I want to make sure. The smell is beautiful. Smell even sweeter than yesterday. So I suspect there's all kinds of sugars from the seeds that are breaking down. Gives it the smell. Now, a lot of people have said that the juice was important, that the girls, and I've kind of noticed that the girls like the juice a lot, so I'm going to try to leave a lot of that juice in there today. This is not the right spoon. And we'll feed it to the girl. I'm feeding it in one of those Dollarama glass bowl because they come with a lid, so if ever there's a waste, if I'm around when I'm feeding that, of course, it doesn't work if I'm not around, but if I'm around and there's some leftovers, I can put them in the fridge to make sure that it doesn't go bad. Because I noticed something, as soon as it starts drying and being not fresh, the girls don't want to eat it anymore. They eat it at first, but anyways, I'll scoop that in there and we'll go feed it to the girls. Food. Yeah, it's definitely a success. And I notice, I shouldn't say more interest, but oh geez, yeah, the juice, eh? They really like. Well, of course, there's going to be a pecking order. Why can't everyone eat at the same time, eh? Well, first of all, the container is not the right one for that. I do have something that is really long that I'm going to start using, like a long gutter style. I just want to make a nice rack for it. But that's it, folks, for okay, so I do have fresh fermented food. I've put some in the strainer here, and I'm collecting the juice. I'm going to keep on calling it the scovy. So that's going to be my kickstart for my batch of chick food. We have 2 chicks here. So this is 1 part growers mix. 2 parts growers mix, 1 part black oil sunflower seed, or if you prefer Boss, and 1 part white millet. I do feed white millet here because I feed it to the wild birds, and my birds get some too. It's kind of an expensive seed, but I like to feed it. And so basically I'm going to take the juice from that to start my batch here. And I'm going to just put that food back. The sound is not very appetizing, but again, so this is a nice scovy, already filled with fermenting bacteria. Put that in there. I'm going to have to top it up with water, and that's going to be it.